Yeah, it's a grateful afternoon live on AYOGEN Online TV here in Ondo City. Again on your darling wonderful segment, Unionism Today. Who once again, it's to tell you, these sections, these segments used to be very wonderful moments that you just really don't want to miss. This is where we give you updates on political matters and unionism activities that happens around our campuses and institutions in Nigeria. And this is a segment whereby you can always come in and contribute your experience, contribute to your reactions to what is going on around the community and the society at large. Yeah, once again, my name is Ade Omade Blessing. Another friend that has been giving you love update and figurative expressions about political matters and unionism today. I am with me this afternoon is a very wonderful comrade. You will just a very brief introduction on this before we go further to today's program. Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I am Comrade Daniel Oluwashinayo Wisdom, popularly known as Kalakuta Political
I most of the time when you make mention of this youngest of me, it's always like, wow, I wish how do I even make a kind of expression of such an identification? Kalakuta political. Like, what was that the name you were given? Like, what actually resulted to the idea of I want to become this certain political section of me?
Okay, well, I guess sometimes ago, by virtue of the little experiences I've had, perhaps diplomatic experience, politically, and the kind of, it appears as a revelation. So now, when you have an inspiration that brings to combine that, it's like a vision. Understand the meaning of some certain things. Just like Kalakuta, Politica Emanata, that name is somehow associated to one of the commitment of our great leader in Nigeria, which is Fela Anikulapo Ransome-Kuti. He had a vision to establish this kind of independence, freelance, to every citizen. I guess he had that vision. But for him to be able to achieve that vision, there were some set of discrepancies. Yeah, because in Nigerian politics, when you come up with your ideas, then you see counter-attacks everywhere. So, but of course, because I knew he had that vision, and I can feel it, and that's where something triggered my own personal interest. And there, the name came up. And I guess there is a kind of divine association to the name. And when you say Kalakuta, it's associated to Fela, giving us freelance. Yeah, Politica. That is, we need more freelance, more hands in politics. Then Emanata. Then we believe someday everybody can have rights and freelance. Then in politics, freedom is coming up in politics through Fela's idea. Wow. That's why we have Kalakuta Politica.
I should be hearing that kind of an explanation of dialogue for the first time. Wow, that is very much impressive. And I think I love that. Then before we go further, we're going to a very short break and we'll be right back. And before we go, while we come around back, we'll be discussing a lot of issues and telling us what particular topic we'll be deliberating on today. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back once again. This is AYOGEN online television. For those of you just joining us on this platform, yeah, just every friend to tell a friend, log in and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook live on AYOGEN TV here in Ondo City, Nigeria. Yeah, with me this afternoon is Kalakuta, as he says, by virtue of political nomenclature. Yeah, I thought today is going to be a big, interesting segment, and I just want to just sit down and watch with us and contribute your own quota of experiences and ideas towards what is going on around our political status. Today's segment, this afternoon, we are going to be treating what we know as power. We once talked about this sometimes ago in our previous segment. There was, we have been having different reactions on we just retreating this segment, and you've been into the system once when it comes to unionism. So yeah, I think this is going to be a very right time to just have we discuss this topic. It's a very big statement. It's a very big thing. We talk about power. And as first, before we go further, I just want to just give the viewers at home the kind of definitions, views to your own little ideology. What do you understand about this word? Power.
Well, let me see try before
Yeah.
that. You see, power, it's a very big vocabulary, very big word. But people misconceive the concept of power. Power gives you authority above a particular set of persons. Power gives you access, to so many things you cannot even have access to. Power is the authority given to you under legislative strength to act, direct, and execute some policies. Yeah. So power could be defined in all different ways, depending on the way we see it individually. And that's why we see people in power. When they get power, they actually manipulate power according to how they understood that power. So power from an angle, literally or psychologically or denotatively, I simply believe power is something we need as human beings to keep us going, then make things happen positively in order to establish a legacy. That is the way I understand power to be.
Yeah, that's a definition I really love that. Before we go, is this topic, I bet it's a very interesting topic, and we're going to be spending a lot of dialoguing together, a lot of segments, sections as regarding this very topic. We talk as power. Sometimes ago, we were having this kind of conversation with a friend of mine on this issue of power. What is power? The use of power and the influence, its effects on mankind. When it comes to the word power, like in this society we both find ourselves into. Those days, those times, we see the struggle for power, we see the quality number of people who struggle for power then. We see the kind of attitude towards it. How do you see people who wants to say, I want to go into power, I want to be in government, I want to be this and that. And in those days, you know that definition of power, just like you said. And when I saw the segments, I saw the definitions, we have different categories of power. When we're talking about power, we want to start talking about anarchy system, you want to start talking about the monarchical system of powers, you want to start talking about democratic powers, you want to start talking about different segments. We have actually witnessed in our community. And this, we just want to, which is going to be one of the major things we are going to be discussing today. The categories, like the views of the community there in the use of power compared to the exposures and the struggle for power in these days. Now, today you just today this is the era we find ourselves that even a man of age of 25 wants to become the president of the country.
Okay.
And what will have actually triggered such an inspiration? And then, when it comes to politics, I'm trying to just be this kind of dialogue, so we just know where we just start from and we just kickstart our discussions on dialogue from. Then when you're talking about politics, then how do you see people who actually give good attitudes towards it? Those who are in the system of government then are even just sidelined to some particular set of people. If you are into politics, then you are either being seen as someone who is jobless or probably who is not having good vision for a career owner. But today, even a doctor, even an engineer, even a doctor holder, everybody just wants to have the power. And what has actually resulted into such inclinations whereby everybody just want to get into, everybody wants to have this power and clinch into it. In your own view, what can you actually say into this kind of reactions? Why we have such a kind of attitude today, and it's kind of, burning out where you have people now these days. Yes, clinching for this power.
And well, from experience, even like what you were mentioning, you forgot to say or mention the pastors too.
Yeah.
The powers. Then if you get to a level, you begin to see even abbalists coming out. Of course, we've seen somebody sometimes ago came out, maybe he was contesting for one chairman from maybe Osun State or wherever. He was actually introducing his own his own kind of, pedigree customs, which is associated to abbalists, into his politicking. He brought it out. So, but however, this is how I view that concept now. I see it as deficiency of power. Yeah, when people test so much harder, so much deeper, that they wanted power so desperate, then it is start to be deficiencies of power. Now, when you look at them, there are two categories of how power are being run. Is that you are an autocratic leader or a democratic leader? So now, when you look deeper into these categories of powers, or people who use power from these two systems, you realize that majority of the people who clamor for power now, these days, lately, they are basically associated to the autocratic style of leadership. They are not democratic at all. And now when you look at majority now, you see majority are coming up, they want to go into power, they want to do this, they lack understanding. Because they lack experience, because they are empty, they don't even know. They believe the essence of power is going into power, then the power, gives you rights to aggrandize wealth, gives you rights to take over, so many things, personal and selfish and self-concerted benefits to themselves. That is why you see majority rushing into power. Initially, before now, we have limited people showing interest in politics. But now, they see it as a source of weight. Now, there's some people switching career into politics, telling you they have career in politics and all that. Just because power is associated to so many things.
Exactly.
It gives you another life.
Acquire power.
Yes, that is why people just want to, either by counterfeit genuine, or through all means, just to acquire power. And that's why you see the majority of them, even after losing an election, they still have to go to court because they are desperate. They wanted the power. It's not bad. Exactly. It's not bad. It is your own personal mindset and orientation that gives you credibility to what you have that is being tagged as power or authority.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, to our viewers, as I told you earlier, this segment is going to be a very interesting one. For those of you just joining, this is AYOGEN Online Television live in Ondo City. This segment is what we always start as unionism, where we deliberate on different political matters and issues happening in the communities when it has to do with me and you. Yeah, likewise, Mr. Shino. I want to let us look at it from this view as well. You know, when we talk about power, can we now start asking ourselves, is power, is there limitations in the community we find ourselves into? Is there a limitations or a cut of excesses to those in power? I will make a little expression as regarding that questions.
Okay.
If you look at it, I've been able to make some few researches when it comes to the use of power and its policies in other developed countries. A country whereby we have even a governor of a state, you can't just wake up in the middle of the day and say you want to do anything you like. If you are going by, there is always rules. There is rules that actually guides and regulates every society and community. But the system of government, the power segment we find ourselves into, power, the strength of our power has make you go so superior to some certain extent of rules, of regulations and laws. Yeah, as complete the law is, I can tell you, I can definitely say that power has its question marks. Like it has some things to answer. Okay. In the essence that, you know, when it comes to we practicing our system of government here in Nigeria, there are some things you do now you can't be questioned when you are in some certain authorities. And is that the normal way it's expected to be? Now the question I ask is power limitless? It is in this country we find ourselves. We know. You know, when it comes to regulations, the rule of law and power, law regulates no matter how big you are, it guides and regulates every activities. But in some certain constituency of which we are so very fortunate to find ourselves into, we don't really think that really works anyway.
Yes, you see one thing about people coming into power. Ordinarily, there is a standard to everything in life.
Exactly.
Even the rule of law that we are being given to guide us, our activities, to guide our policies, to guide our government and even governance. People have a way of manipulating these things out. However, nobody is above the law. The law is meant to regulate everybody towards enjoying, enduring, and even exploiting their right to grant them freelance. But now, you see majority, because they have power, it tends to tell you that they are above the law, so they can do and undo. It is a lie. We are just being deformed psychologically from our mindset. Yeah. Then, I see the politics we practice in this part of the world as a do or die politics. Yeah.
Maybe in addendum to these questions, I want us to just try and just to put some of our expression to the unionism aspects, to the institutions. Like for example, you know, the so-called, let's just even start from the list, the honorables in the house, in schools. You know, once you become an honorable, you find yourself quite different from others. Yeah. And once you now acquire a political positions, maybe you happen to be the president of an institution, then definitely you are the power. That's the fact. And with that, you now see yourself in a situation whereby you are untouchable. You can do anything and undo. After all, I'm the president of an institution, no one can actually question my obligations and the likes. Now, looking at this, is it actually the right thing? Can we say the use of power, the necessity to acquire power is these reasons why, like making all these kind of illustrations is the reason why we acquire power, or is the right thing, or is the reason why we really need power in acquisitions?
Yeah. Generally, looking at it, every citizen has right to power.
Exactly.
Under the law, according to the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So then, when you look at our institutions now, there are so many things that are very, very hard, awful, and not even reasonable or rational to a normal human being by the virtue of the standard of common sense. Now, looking at somebody who comes from a lead, maybe over 10,000 or 10,000 Nigerian students, I want to do this or that. But of course, this person in question is expected to hand this power by going through all necessary obstacles, challenges, and tests that guarantees or authenticates the mindset of that particular person or his approach towards that power or the use of power. But now, the system is so corrupt to the extent that even now in our institutions, we have other hands, other invisible forces here manipulating candidacy or candidature of a particular persons in a particular setting. And all these things are not even, of course, you cannot ostracize them or isolate them.
Exactly.
You understand? They are meant to happen. But it is best thing for you as a person who is seeking for power. You see one thing, I see people who abuse power as paupers. They are deformed in their psychological or positive mindsets. They lack vision. They don't even have potentials. They lack ideas. Yeah, that's why you see them going to power. It's as if you're putting a round peg in a scale, and you see them doing rubbishes. 4 years, no vision, and this person will be coming back again to tell you, excuse me, give me another time. Why do you need to go back? Of course, I don't know. People just say that something they don't want to leave. Why you see people in power, they want to die in power. Yeah, when you tell them to step aside or do that, it's because they don't have ideas. If you are a successor, a prospective entrepreneur who is blessed with potential, you know, even if you leave the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you know you can always do other things that makes you fulfill without seeing the office of the President as the only thing you can do. After achieving your dreams or career, becoming a president, or after your emergence, after a year, step aside. We have over 250 Nigerian population, over 250, 300 Nigerians. Everyone has right to even become the president or the governor of the state. Then you see some people telling you, I am going back. I want to go back. Fine, people who are doing good can request for second term. I don't blame, I don't say anything bad in that. But however, it is always the best thing for us to seek power from God. If you have a very divine foundation or association between you and your Creator, is the Creator, the regulator, the benefactor of all mankind. And it says, even the scripture makes us understand, nobody can attain something without being given from above. Just like sometimes ago during my unionism struggle, I told people from my experience that no matter how perfect, no matter how clever, no matter how crafty, no matter how smart you are, you cannot become a leader. It is only God that ordains a leader. No matter how mathematical, no matter how smart. As somebody was telling us, just like, I don't really want to mention names, but you see people who have even led and even served at a very high level of power. And then they're coming back to contest, they failed. Can you imagine that? They failed. Somebody ruling a state for 2 years, coming back to contest for maybe either 2 or 3 local governments, eventually failed. How do you? It's a mystery. It is a mistake. He has resources, he has every other thing to win the election, but now, because God has not designed him to go through that channel, that pattern. So I have it as a kind of mentality or inner strength for me that whatsoever I have interest in, I can shape. And if I try making that effort, if it doesn't work, I let it go. Just keep doing my things, make myself happy and my family. So people that see power as the end point of their life, then it's obvious. You see them, they have nothing to give, they have nothing to offer. So the most important thing is when we seek power, we need to ask from God first. According to Matthew 6:33, it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, then what? Exactly. Every other thing will be added." It is simple faith, common sense, no other grammar. So that's the best way I see this concept of power.
Wow. That is very, very quite interesting. This is a kind of reactions we've written as well. One of my friend colleagues actually make this kind of, like when it comes to power, you have many successful people who are doing very quite good in their careers. You have a lot of billionaires in this country. We have a lot of scholars in which, in very normal day, they are doing good. But they are good, they kind of control, their kind of agitations towards the weight they add, to my view, as we look at the way things are in this country. To my view, most cases is not always the limit. And you see a situation whereby a doctor, a very successful tycoon business owners, this has what's happened in different countries and different situations. A tycoon business owner, now struggling for power. Then what exactly is this power? That everybody just wants to find themselves in these categories. And, before we just give this kind of reactions, I just want us to just buttress more on this. When it comes to this kind of articulations, you just want to start looking at it from like, okay, what else do I need? I have the weight. The S status is good and okay, but there is something left. Power I want to acquire. So in most cases, it is always like maybe the intoxication of power, the kind of deficiencies behind the use of power, the influence of power is the reason why you see people are agitating for this. Not like there is always a good effect of power. In a very normal day, if you find yourself in a system of government in a particular political positions, or let's just do the word political, let's make use of the community responsibility. If you find yourself in a responsibility, you are expected to discharge the designations. Okay. And, everybody can be in the same office. That is actually an asset. Yeah. But while you are appointed in different offices, your right is to discharge your services accordingly. But in this case, it is always a different story. Which now there is something I just wish you help to iron out.
Yes.
Which is now the reason why people are now struggling. It is a battle, it's a context of war. Yeah. Everybody now wants to go into power because of what is behind the use of power.
Yes. Even aside from what is behind or what power gives you.
Exactly.
Yeah, aside from that, even if I am a successful business person or a successful person with billions or trillions, I would still want to do politics because I see it as
complete.
Yeah. Then I see it as passion. I love it.
Yeah. If you are seeing it as passion, is it the way you are seeing it is the way everybody is seeing it?
No, that's the point. That's why I say that if I am requesting anything from God, just like the Latin, they say, "Vos populi, vos Dei." That is, the voice of God is the voice of man. So if I'm actually seeking it, I'd rather go to God first before demanding from man. Because even the man, after all permutations, might eventually play you out and support the other person. What are you going to do? Then automatically, the power is being forfeited. So now, it is always a kind of pictorial landmark for people who are successful business moguls or tycoon coming back to contest for a particular elective position. It is alright. It is okay. It is just alright. The most important thing is for them to understand that even the money they had, the wealth they had, they might not be able to consume that wealth for the rest of their life. So how much more? If you think of stealing governments or embezzling from the society, added to what you have had, then automatically you're being foolish. That's what the Bible says. Now, stealing from the society because you had money and you wanted to this and blah, 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 all these things, it depends on the person in question. Yeah, it depends on how you go about achieving this power. If you go through the right way, you act right. If you go otherwise, then it's obvious. That's why you see that people embezzle, they even go to court. So many persons now in Nigeria. Nigeria policy is something I must confess and tell you. I have gone through the experiences of the Second Republic from what I can actually deduce and learn, and even from history and all that. I realize the politics we play in Nigeria is not really politics. But yeah, it is a war.
A war.
Yeah, it is a war. And
that is a very sensitive.
Yeah.
And
I tell you, and when you see people go into politicking, the first thing, they tend to guide their life. Their life changes, their orientation changes, the way they relate with you before, the way they are free with you, the way they are open to people. Every other thing will have to be readjusted. They don't, when they go to, if they come to your house 10 times a day, it will be reduced to even one. Not before they get into power, but because they tend to go into politics, they realize it is a war. Then their orientation changes that they have this consciousness of not being safe. So they needed bodyguard. If you give them water to drink, they will be careful. They will go to herbalists and do all sort of things just to tell them you want to be protected and defend themselves because they are going into war, not politics. Politics is meant to be a game, a loving game. A game that you find, if you go this way, if it's not possible, there's always a way. There's always a way. You have to be, strategic. You have to pull up every mentality, every 100% mentality, psychological game, pulling, all that, bringing ideas together to establish a particular objective. That is the way politics is expected to be. But now in Nigeria, from the few things you have witnessed, you can tell now people go into the marketplace, market square to bathe nakedly because they want power.
They want acquisition of power.
Yeah, you see all sort of ritual whatsoever, killing people, killing all this because they want that power. And all these things are not just sanity. They are suffering from something which I said earlier.
This is actually a citations like, everybody that is in need, everybody just wants this power. Well, what is now behind this so-called power? Like, I said earlier, which just made as an illustration, anyone who says to do anything.
Yeah.
You are always you don't care whatever it costs you
to gain power.
To gain it. You just want to get there at all costs. I remember some kind of a joke we were cracking sometimes ago. When it comes to election time, even your worst enemy becomes your friend.
That is the
when it comes to someone you have never related with for a very long period of time, you now start trying to create a kind of a relationship.
Befriending for trust.
Yeah, just for you to have the power.
Within that shortest time of that exercise. And once you get what you want,
once you get that,
then you dissociate that same level of trust you were trying to be with somebody.
The same person that was once your friend now becomes your enemy, someone you can't even just trust for some seconds. Now, this actually intoxicated this ability, this attitude.
Okay.
Yeah, power. Then what exactly has this power is behind this view that is now so very intoxicating?
It's a very the language the dictionary statement is might be very too friendly. Using the word intoxicating, like maybe we should just add a kind of little adjective like the use of power, like too very. If I'm saying it is going to be too bloody, you know, like.
Yeah, it could be bloody, you're correct, because we have animals and beasts now that control power.
Maybe we should just give a kind of, it could be beastie.
Yeah.
Let's just use the
Perhaps,
beastie.
yeah, deadly, devilish, those sort of things associated with.
Because if you look at it this way, there is something behind the bar. You know, the Yoruba days used to say, and if you look at Efa and AJ, they are two different figures. What is next to 6? Then between 6 and 7 is what we have been issues with.
Yeah. There's a thin line.
Exactly. The thin line, the thin perceptions with the use of power that is causing a kind of a class limitation with our society and the system of government we practice in Nigeria is what we think we need to identify. Maybe that could have, maybe this could be a kind of resolution. Okay, why am I going into power? What is behind this use of power that is making a differentiation and giving you a kind of ugly characters?
Yeah, the point is, I guess my father of blessed memory once told me, he said, according to a claim or a philosopher, he said the use of power is but temporary. And mind you, it can subdue for the moment. And once it's subdued, there is no other means of reconciliation. That is, you get started with power, you enjoy power, and power has a dead end. That is an expiring moment. And once the power
doesn't last for a very long time.
It doesn't last for it has a shortest duration of time. So once your time, according to the law, is overused, then you are out of the structure. There's no way of you coming back into the structure again, except you have acted right and associated with the right minds who are in power and still want you to exist in power. But anything aside that, now I guess I can only subscribe or come out from this point that people who do not want to stay off power or, try to, something behind them coming to just being desperate for power, it is because there is this particular affluence associated to power. When you enjoy the calling of His Excellency, Her Excellency, you wake up security, sometimes they even enjoy to the extent that I guess it's only clothes they put on for their sake. Every other thing is being done for them because of that position. So the position gives you certain affluence.
Then probably you could say power gives you merit.
Yeah, that's the merit. That's what we are saying.
The
money gives merit.
The merit, in fact, to some certain extent, you could only say wealth does not even give you exactly what power will give you.
No, it doesn't. Power gives you everything. Wealth does not give you everything. Wealth might not give you power. It depends on your mental ability.
Yeah, exactly.
But power gives you everything. Everything. Power gives you wealth. That's what you actually wanted in power. Power gives you connections and better links, whatsoever, everything. Mention them. Power gives you. In fact, power gives you the devil. And that's where you see that people who manipulated power, who got through the year, they have the devil to work in them.
Yeah.
And they begin to kill people, give others. Look at people who kill innocent citizens at the toll gate saga. You see, all these things are just something at times when I sit down, I smile about them and just look up to God. We all have visions. We all have respective sides and the way we see things and ideas. We pray, we keep asking God to even help us guide our path through. We need a leader in Nigeria who is God-fearing. And that leader has to be very, very diplomatic and to some extent radical. I never imagined that this man, what is his name? Senator Ovie Omagege. He was I once said we are having the same set of traits. Sometimes ago in Parliament, I remember somebody, hijacked the mess of the Parliament, we were in Parliament and something like that. But now I realized Obiage is also doing something like that, and now eventually he became the Senate President of this country, a Deputy Senate President of the country. So what have we got to do? So you see, it depends. Let's just keep praying. We needed somebody who has the fear of the Lord. And that can help our country to have a better landmark.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Shina. We are almost out of time. Yeah, before we draw the curtain, I understand that there are still some other discussions that we really need to put in place, and we'll be very fast. So to just try and balance up some things and the likes. Before we go, I will be going on a very short break, and I will be right back while we continue the rest of the activities for today. And just stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the segments. Thank you.
Thank you, Neza.
Yeah, welcome back again to this wonderful segment. For those of you just joining us, this is AYOGEN Online TV live in Ondo City. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook and Instagram page, AYOGEN Television. You can also visit our website, AYOGEN TV, and just go through our latest updates and wonderful news sections on AYOGEN TV, exactly what's going on in our communities at large. A lot of things you will be benefiting from. This segment is not just for you alone. You can always share and share so that every other in the community at large can benefit from. Yeah, to my wonderful guests this afternoon. We've been treating a very particular topic. We actually tagged as power. I know we've been able to make some few justifications with the use of power and its effect, the kind of how intoxicating it is, why most of us in the community today, we don't just want to let it go. You just want to have the power. Just like you said, it says power is just for some certain moment. It's not something it's not your father's heritage. But sometimes this kind of the actions I wish we just give a kind of justifications to in this view before we call it a day in this segment. When it comes to the word power, the use of power, we've been talking about how intoxicating it truly was, and how far it has been able to affect a lot of us. Sometimes the reasons that has led to we fighting for or struggling for power. If you look at today, we have series of good-hearted people that really want to go into power and do it right. But with the picture as it stands in the community we find ourselves into, we want to say power has been polluted to the extent that the right people who are supposed to get themselves in this category of the use of power are finding it so difficult to get there, or like they don't really want to go or venture into the business of struggling for such power just because of the fact that the power already has been polluted or has been corrupted, and they don't want to just get corrupted. That's why you see, even in most situations today, how do you see serious church like-minded people finding themselves in politics? Aside the use of church or aside the use of religion activities, we have a lot of good people with good attitude and restrictions of power usage. But with the fact that the system is being corrected just because of the identification of power usage, which is a kind of a limitation and restrictions to the use of power. And what can you actually say as a view and a kind of an encouragement, the way forward at which we can have the right set of system of government?
Yes, I would say, just like one of my colleagues is in power right now, somewhere in one of those schools, but of course, he made mention of something. Even aside from him, I realized that in Nigeria, majority will say, oh, Christians per se, they say, oh, politics is very dirty, they can't play politics, you see? And some people say, oh, power is this, too dangerous, they don't have the strength or are diabetic, fine. You know where those people dwell? You know where they exist? They exist below the normal surface of the earth. Yes. Psychologically, they are being disturbed and derailed. Now, if you are influential, if you are thoughtful, if you are reasonable, if you are a Christian, you have all these qualities to become a very good leader. But yet, you still find yourself finding it difficult making a decision of going into power. Automatically, you don't have senses. Automatically, if you tell me it's not your interest, it is a lie. Because the constitution has given you the right to show interest. And if you decline that right, automatically, you are just a commoner, a zombie, who does not think. And that is why you see the atmosphere whereby, in this part of the world, you see minority leading the majority. Because they have power. And now, the good set of person, a clean set of person, if you claim to be good and you are not going into power to show your potentials, tell them that this is your identity, because your name is attached to your personality while you are contesting all your career. And that's why sometimes ago, my secondary school secondary school vice principal, each time we misbehave, each time people hurt, my sex, majority of them, he come out to say, oh, you guys are just acting, you are a recessive of your home. That is, you carry your home to wherever you are a representative of your home. So if you cannot make use of your ability and grace to contest for an elected or elective office, and you feel because bad people are going there, you don't want to join them or all that, then you step aside. Then that's why you see the mediocres leading the set of intelligent set of persons.
Wow, this has been a very wonderful moment. And you should end it all, and I wish this segment never ends. Yeah, like exactly. We believe you will be discussing the issues of the communities. Likewise, we always have very good points to identify. don't have the whole day. You remember we say, yeah, you've said it all. If you have a good heart of doing it well, don't sit down and criticize. Come out, make steps, and do the right thing. It's a key point for us just to hold on to today. And once again, I want to just say a very big thank you to my wonderful guest, person that follow Ashina, aka Kalakuta Politica Emanata. Oh. Thank you very much. I should believe maybe most of these days we can always keep having you around in our segments. Right. And with you again, once more time is a day, blessing, live on AYOGEN television, bringing you on this segment, Unionism Today. Just keep staying tuned and keep subscribing to our stations and downloading our programs, segments. This same time next week, we'll be meeting here every Friday by 4 o'clock p.m. You'll have a very wonderful, blessed week and weekend.